Next stop is Westfield Road.
Turn left.
Oh, I have to verify it's me.
Head
Hang on.
southeast.
All right.
I just learned something. Obhasa showed me that gas pump, there's an air on the left side. That means that the gas cap is on the left side of the vehicle.
Good morning, Ranger Obhasa.
Good morning, Jyoti Pala.
This is my friend who we actually just met. We've known each other 2 or 3 years through my YouTube channel. And we've been corresponding back and forth about various Dhamma questions and hiking. But Ranger Obhasa is a National Park Ranger. Where do you work?
At the George Washington Memorial Parkway, which is located just outside of DC.
Right, and what are your primary duties there?
Primary duties are interpretation, so telling the story of the park sites, protecting the resource from abuse, protecting the visitors from each other, protecting them from getting hurt in the wilderness, and that's about it.
And you also said you do some like tours of Claire Barton?
I do, yeah. I offer interpretive guided tours of Claire Barton National Historic Site once a week on Sundays. It's 1 p.m. through 4 p.m., so come out and visit me if you happen to be in the area.
Washington, D.C. Yeah. What was one of the, you were telling me yesterday an interesting story about how frugal Claire Barton was.
Right. So she grew up on a farm, meaning that she would always find multiple uses for things and not waste anything. So when they were constructing her home in this place called Glen Echo, she would use bandage material, which she had an ample supply of, being the founder of the American Red Cross. And she would use that to coat the ceilings of her home instead of use plaster, which saved on costs and found a dual use for an item that she already had plenty of.
And you say when you give these tours, that is still on the walls or on the ceilings?
That's right, still on the ceilings over 150 years later.
That's amazing. Hey, it's a whole flock.
There we go.
All right, so wanted to share a little bit of history about the National Park Service. The first director of the National Park Service, Stephen Mather, he was a very wealthy businessman at first. He made his fortune in the borax mining business, and then he decided he wanted to be more philanthropical. So he left that and went to Washington and convinced the people in charge that he could create a national park system from nothing. And he very much successfully did so. He's a force of nature, that man. But one of the things I wanted to share about his life is that he suffered from some mental illness. And there was a time where just when the National Park Service was signed into law, he had a mental breakdown and sort of reaching the pinnacle of his achievement after so much hard work, and then just something in him just kind of snapped. And he was beside himself and couldn't really run the Park Service at the time. So what they did is his close confidant, his number 2 in command, Horace Albright, took him out here to Yosemite and let him rest and recuperate for a number of weeks. And the mental breakdown happened twice in his life, and both times he went out to nature, one time to Yosemite, possibly to another park for the other time. But after a couple of weeks, it healed him completely with no need for medication or anything else like that, no therapy. So it's really speaks to the healing properties that the National Park Service can offer and just wilderness in general.
Earlier, Obhasa and I were talking about the healing nature of being in nature and just being in the park in general, which reminded me of a story that when I first started hiking, I was getting ready for going for my very first really long backpacking trip, but going trekking in Nepal. And when I was doing it, a friend took me on Mount Moosilauke, which is in New Hampshire. And we were hiking up real early in the morning, and we came across 3 hikers, and I didn't really even notice them. But my hiking companion said, I wonder if those were Appalachian Trail through hikers. And we got up to the summit, and sure enough, there was a person up there who confirmed that that's what they were. And then when I was in Nepal, I had a near-death experience that really opened me up to wanting to understand life and death, and got me involved in meditation, which led to interest in monasticism. But shortly after that, I kept having dreams of those 3 hikers, and it was just kind of just almost like the same scene. But one night, in kind of a state of halfway being awake and asleep, I had a dream of the 3 hikers descending upon me, and in this vision I said hello, and the lead hiker stopped and raised his head, and I was staring at myself. And what I said about it in the journal was that I said, here was a man who was at ease with himself and the world around him, and his eyes were as pure as a mountain spring. And these eyes said to me, if you have the courage, come find me. So I think that's why I'm so attracted to sauntering, being out in nature like this. I just told Obhasa, who's right up there in front of us, can't see him, he's in the light, but just so grateful to him for taking me out here and giving both of us this experience. These are beautiful trees.
We have a kind Tesla driver behind us who is not tailgating.
Giving you space, enjoying your pace.
Yes.
Those are spectacular. We are on Tioga Pass Road, probably about 5 miles in, heading to North Dome, Porcupine Creek. And we're just enjoying a beautiful day. Here we are at the trailhead, 4.4 miles to North Dome. That's our destination.
Easy peasy.
What a beautiful day. Are we having fun yet?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You gonna lead the way? You lead the way. We'll follow you. Okay? Don't go too fast.
Just had a mental image of that photo of Ajahn Chah feeding deer.
Yeah.
Love that photo.
Hi there, family. Hi there. You having a good day? Those taste good?
Some goodies.
We're just gonna gently walk by you. If there's any bears up here, we'll scare them away.
They're all so curious. I love it. Oh, hello. You want to come close?
They don't have any deer food. No deer food.
Just want to give them a hug. Sweet babies.
Check this out over here. You're talking about fires.
Oh yeah.
So the fires are so intense that they burn the whole tree down, but then they burn down into the root system as well. So you get these big, sometimes 8 feet deep holes from fires. So when I was here last summer, there was a fire in this area, and I have the video showing the smoke. So this is where it was coming from. We just made it to our campsite. We're relaxing. We didn't bring tents. We're just cowboy camping. This is going to be my view tonight. I'm already laying on the ground. That's my view. This is my tent site for the night. Home sweet home for the evening. Where'd you go, buddy? Good morning, Ranger Obhasa.
Morning.
Isn't it spectacular?
Oh yeah, it's a great morning.
This is why we're here. Yosemite Creek, that's about 5 feet across from there to there, probably 10 inches deep. Flowing. Yosemite Creek. That was kind of somebody giving us.
Passing through the gates. Holy moly! Oh, this is incredible!
How did I miss that?
Wow, that's a wonderful shot of Half Dome.
And that's Cloud's Rest right over there.
Uh-huh.
This is why we came.
Oh yeah.
That's North Dome where we're heading. And straight ahead in the middle of the picture, that's El Capitan. Where Blake and I went last year.
I'm trying to figure out where Dewey Point is over there. It's rough. I can feel my heart beginning to beat faster. Park Service with purpose of protecting and preserving the national parks for the enjoyment of future generations. And in that legislation, there's also a sentence which is really, really beautiful. It establishes the park system as a place for enjoyment by all, which is all people, all nations of the earth, all animals that live there, and really makes it for a really unique and, like Ken Burns, the documentarian, would put it, America's best idea.
Beautiful. And here we are enjoying that. And part of that enjoyment in nature is also danger. There's a wildfire over there. So Basso, I remember when I was over at Mariposa Groves that there was a Abraham Lincoln had signed maybe the first national park. So that would have been before Woodrow Wilson. What did you find about that?
So President Abraham Lincoln, he signed the Yosemite Grant Act in June 30th of 1864. And the act granted Yosemite Valley and Mariposa Grove, the giant sequoias, to the state of California for preservation. And it was the first time land had been set aside for the U.S. federal government, specifically for preservation and public use, and laid the groundwork for the national park system that would follow years later.
Wow, Abraham Lincoln.
Honest Abe.
I could learn a lot from Ranger Obhasa.
Like what? What? You, you must know way more than I do. You must know way more.
He's taking it easy.
Oh, yeah.
He's got this view here.
Yeah, when you're not able to take it easy on the job, you got to take it easy when you're off duty. That's the only way to do it. Alrighty.
Thanks, Wasso.
You're welcome. It's amazing how these creatures can grow so large with such low calorie foods.
Is that your baby over there? Is that your baby?
Looks like it.
Is that your baby? We're just maybe a quarter mile up from where the fire stopped. And you see down here on the ground, like all the fuels. And up here, we will walk you through now, just over the years, all these trees that have fallen. The grass here in the meadow is way taller. Just the vegetation is much thicker. So when the fire comes through, it actually burns off all this dead material, helps it go into the ground as to become soil a lot quicker. And it was actually much more enjoyable to walk through, but this isn't unenjoyable. But as you can see, fire has its purpose. Do you want to say something about that, Ranger?
Yeah, so we saw a fire earlier when we were on North Dome, and it was way off in the distance. There were helicopters flying nearby, and it was probably the National Park Service surveying the fire from altitude. And the Park Service does a good job of preventing wildfires that do get out of control, and then also controlled and prescribed burns as well. And it's good that we do those prescribed burns because it's essentially mimicking the natural environment and clearing out the detritus that falls from the trees and the plants, etc. And it allows for new growth to happen too. So nature continually renews itself, and we can also help it do so as well if needed.
Good morning, Obhasa.
Hey, good morning.
We had an interesting evening last night. You didn't do anything unskillful, but what happened?
So we accidentally returned the rental car with important travel documents, passport, debit cards, ID, and we got all the way to the return Enterprise searching for it. And thankfully we ended up being able to get a hold of them again.
We appreciate you having patience with us. What else?
Tell the Buddhist monk he's got to have more mindfulness.
More mindfulness, please. Us too, because we didn't check the book for more. Take care, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Baggage drop off. We should have done that with our packs a long time ago. So, happy trails.
Happy trails. Yeah, parting shortly here.
Yeah, why don't we, I hate goodbyes, so happy trails, and let's do this again.